Is it possible that ancient humans actually did live to be several hundred years old, or even thousands, and in some cases, tens of thousands of years of age? Now, before we just dismiss this as nonsense or mistranslation of historical text, or even just symbolism of something else, let's just consider where we are today in 2017. We've been cloning animals for more than 20 years. In fact, Dolly the sheep in 1996 was the first animal we ever cloned. And since then, we've cloned at least 15 different species of animals, whether it be farm animals, monkeys, fish, all kinds of different animals. And we're even now cloning human organs on the backs of mice and in petri dishes. I mean, we're even cloning human hearts. And now that people are living longer than ever, I mean, where are we going to be a few hundred years into the future, assuming we don't destroy ourselves by then? I mean, think about how long our lifespans will be 300, 400, 500 years into the future. I mean, think about that. We have a bunch of nerds in laboratories right now growing organs in petri dishes. And I say nerds as a term of endearment, by the way. So what's to say what's possible and what isn't? I mean, as of today, if you have $100,000, you can pay a company in South Korea to clone your dog. So when the Sumerian Text, which lists all kinds of really interesting information, I mean, somehow the Sumerians knew of the planets in our solar system, and they knew that Mars was smaller than Earth, Jupiter bigger than Saturn, and Saturn bigger than Uranus, and so on. I mean, how did they know this thousands of years before any telescope allegedly ever existed? Yet they claim that their king gods lived to be tens of thousands of years old, which of course many people will dismiss as symbolism or nonsense or whatever. But let's not forget how many different civilizations from across multiple continents around the world all say the same thing. Ancient Chinese text, Indian, Persian, Greek, Sumerian, texts from the Bible all say the same thing. That before the flood, we lived longer than we do now. I mean, and now it's slowly going back up again. So is it really out of the realm of possibility? Now, a lot of people will say, well, wait a second. If we were so technologically advanced, we would have proof, or there would be more evidence of this laying around that we would find. Now, let me use the example, and I've used this in other videos, of course, which is that of the Titanic. 105 years ago, 50,000 tons of steel and iron, a boat that was more than 800 feet long, sank to the bottom of the ocean, and now, today, it's more than halfway gone. In just a few hundred more years, it'll be completely non-existent. And I've also used the example of cars and houses, that say if you leave a car outside unattended for several decades, it'll rust itself straight through. Same thing with a house, that if you leave it unattended, it'll collapse in on itself in a matter of decades. So when we're talking about a length of time of tens of thousands of years, let's not forget that nothing survives other than stone. So any evidence that we'd be looking for is, well, it's gone now. And not to mention, if the most advanced civilizations an ancient civilization lived on the coastline, as they do today, well, what would happen with a 400-foot rise in sea level? I mean, it's all gone, right? Is it possible that ancient humans were once so advanced that they were able to repair their DNA and grow new organs and able to live to be 900 years old or 1,000 or even tens of thousands of years old? I mean, we're at the point now, they say that in just a few years, we'll be cloning our first woolly mammoth, literally. And they're even talking about how long it will be before we clone the first human, which I suspect has already happened. I mean, think about it. Countries like North Korea or China, or even the deep state intelligence agencies with the United States, I mean, come on. They've probably already done it already. It's disturbing to think about, but this is the world we live in. You think that scientists somewhere haven't gone rogue and tried that out? It's time we start entertaining new questions, because obviously, following the last cataclysm that happened approximately 11,600 and 13,000 years ago, a dual event, I've discussed this in numerous videos, that obviously it would be a reset button for everything. We would lack any type of evidence of it anyways. So what are the odds that you would have numerous civilizations across multiple continents all saying the same thing? Maybe there is some truth to it. And we're obviously heading in that direction again. We're living to be longer than ever. They say that the first 150-year-old people are already alive and driving around today. I mean, there's even legends and stories that people have lived to be 150 years old already, but they weren't able to verify it. So, of course, the Guinness Book of Records never took it into consideration. Anyways, guys, I want to make this video just to get it out there and get people thinking, because you know, something that I used to think was just ridiculous or silly symbolism. I mean, it wasn't until just a few months ago that I started actually thinking about that, you know, maybe there's some truth to this. I mean, history does repeat itself, right? Anyways, guys, I'll leave it at that. Like and subscribe and leave me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. But I'm Jimmy. This is Bright Insight. I have many other videos to come on a whole wide variety of topics. Take care, everybody.